Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Burnt Pancakes podcast. I'm your host, Katie Fensky, a mom of three, reminding other moms that everyone burns their first pancake. Today, I have on a guest, and I am sitting down with Orlana Darkins. She is a marketing and media expert who specializes in working with young adults. We had such a great conversation. All of her experience working with teens and young adults. We talk about how to communicate, how to help young people find their passion, what are some real world skills that will help prepare them for the future, and how to navigate this new social media world. This was a really fun conversation. I really enjoyed it. I also want to make note that she is working with the Shyne Awards, awards for young people 13 to 24, and they are now accepting applications. So we're going to talk about that a little bit in the podcast, but if you're interested, make sure to check out the shyneawards.org, and the link will be in the show notes. So please enjoy a glimpse into the teen and young adult world. Orlana, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Yes. Anyone who wants to talk about teen topics, I'm like, please come on. Like, I could use all the help I can get. So you're going to be my like teen expert.
Okay.
Why don't you just give a little background on how you came to work with teens and how you became an expert?
Yes, so first of all, again, thank you so much for this opportunity. My background is public relations. I'm also in the media for years. I've always had a radio show in my city, which is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, public relations, radio, event planning is my background.
Mhm.
So, for the majority of my career, I've always worked with adults, whether it was celebrity parties or award shows, conferences.
Man,
That
that
has
sounds
always
fun.
been my thing. Yeah, it was always fun, busy, stressful, but that was my life. My husband worked, he's an advocate for victims. So if you saw my husband at your child's school, that was not a good thing because something
Mhm.
happened, but he
Mhm.
was mostly exposed to young people. And so he saw the good and the bad. For about 2 years, in the early 2000s, he kept saying, you need to do something that celebrates kids. There's kids out here doing great things. And I was just kind of like, I don't know. And not that I didn't think kids were doing well, but I was so comfortable with being hired to do other people's events or working for a company and I was promoting or doing all the things that I do. But I had an opportunity. My company was hired by a university to do events for their college prep program. So that was nothing but high school students. So that was my first like exposure to working with teenagers pretty much every day. But after a while, so while I was there, I did see it. Like I saw kids come in the program with like a 1.5, like about like struggling in high school. And then after they go through the program, they would graduate with like a 3.5 or a 4.0. And for
Wow.
me, I'm like, oh my gosh, where's the fanfare for that? So
Mhm.
for me, I finally saw what my husband saw, that there's kids out here changing their lives around, making a difference. And there's no really like a celebration for them. So the Shine Awards, that's how the Shine Awards and my working with teenagers kind of came about, was for me seeing firsthand young people kind of make these transformations and seeing the need to provide a public platform to celebrate the good things young people are doing.
Oh, that's awesome. So the Shine Awards. So you said they started, I think, when we were talking earlier in 2007, and they keep
2007, and
going
we were
now.
only supposed to do it one time. We just wanted to prove a point, you
Hmm.
know, that young people are doing great things. And yeah, this is our 16th year.
Yeah. It's like as a parent, I look at my kids and like the world is ahead of them. But then when you have teenagers, it's like it's a different animal that you're dealing with. How do you like, how do parents help their teens get ready for the future? Like there's so much they could do, but it's also kind of overwhelming. So what are some tips that parents can do to help them?
Yeah, so our main tip that we've heard young people say to us is that the Shyne Awards Foundation instills confidence in them. And I
Mm,
think that's something that parents can do, whether it's, we're so quick to see maybe some of the shortcomings, like you didn't take out the
mhm.
trash,
Yep.
versus thanks for putting away the dishes. Like maybe there was something that good that did happen,
Oh my
but I
gosh,
think
yes.
giving compliments instills giving compliments instills confidence. Also, just exposing maybe your kids to different things or different experiences that encourage responsibility. I know just as someone that works with teens and working with parents, we're so quick to fix their situation. We don't
Hmm.
want them to be uncomfortable or
Yeah.
experiencing pain, so we swoop in.
100%.
So
Yep.
so maybe not swooping as fast. Maybe see if they can figure it out or and provide the solution. And then also sharing things like having open discussions about finances. I know for me growing up, my mom kept finances kind of a mystery. It was like, you have plenty of time to worry about that when you're an adult. When really that would have helped me
Yes.
as a teen, especially when went to college. Like I had no kind of spending discipline at all. But, open discussions about finances, the importance of time management, goal setting. I think those are great ways to prepare our young people for college, if that's the direction they want to go, um, for entrepreneurship, if that's the direction they want to go. And I think one other thing is the importance of in person conversations.
Mm,
Had a conversation with, he's the executive director of an arts organization. And he said that there's a position they're trying to fill. And he said that their young people are afraid to pick up the phone and have a conversation.
wow.
Like they're great with email,
And
social
texting.
media. But when he would say, hey, can you call this person? It's a deer in headlights, like they don't know what to do. And I also remember I worked for a university in their business school.
Hmm.
And we had interns. So in the office, the interns weren't very chatty. You're like, okay.
That's
But
funny.
then when I would reach out to them in their DMs, it was this whole personality.
What?
So I had to adjust how I communicated to them. But the only downside was I couldn't use them to share any information about the school. Like it was like it's
Yeah.
so I think that's another thing too, like have one-on-one conversations, whether it's with your aunt, a
Hmm.
cousin, a neighbor. So it's not
Yes.
comfortable.
It does seem like today's generation, like they have the phones, they have, and I even do that a lot of times. So my friend will call and be like, should have just texted me. It's so much faster, it's so much easier. But I do. So I took my kids to baseball practice the other day, and the older son didn't have practice. So we were meeting the coach, and he went up to him. He's like, oh, and this is your other son. Hi, nice to meet you. And then he's like, look me in the eye and say hi. Like I always try and tell him that. But it's like little things like that that they're so used to like digital communication that they're not learning like look at someone. And I have heard that a lot of college students now are having a really hard time because they're so used to like virtual. And, I send in my paper to my teacher electronically that they're not used to
Right.
being in person.
Yes, I have nieces and nephews who I'll share with them like, "Hey, I got this job opportunity," and they'll say, "Do I have to talk to people?" Um,
Yeah, we're
do
human.
you
Yes.
find
Yes. It's so different. But I guess that shows like how important it is to like keep getting your kids out and exposing them to people. It's
it?
so different.
And that's the other thing too. So we have the Shine Awards, but the Shine Awards Foundation, that's one of the other things we do too. So if a young person says, I'm interested in engineering, we kind of go through our network to see what engineers we might know so they can do
Mm.
shadowing or have a virtual conversation, but they're still talking, or
Yeah.
maybe it is in person. But yeah, but getting them still used to, yes, everything is highly tech, but
Mm-hmm.
still, you don't want to lose the art of human to human conversation. It
Yes.
is still needed.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so that makes me think of I look at my boys when they're like, 17, 18 at the end of high school. There's so many options. You can go to a 4-year school, you can go to a JC, a trade school, this. At that age, I didn't even know what I wanted to do. Like, how do we as parents help them see their talents? And like here, you said he's interested in engineering. How do you even know that? And then show them like the different options that they could take in those different paths. Like for me, it was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to go to 4-year college and I'm going to get some degree. I'm going to decide later. How do I do that as a parent?
Right, exactly. And I think you kind of said it like expose them to as many things as possible. So even if it is a conversation with a neighbor, and maybe that neighbor is a blue collar professional, but that's still a conversation. Or maybe the neighbor is an engineer or clergy. Just exposure to things. I think also observation is key. What do you see your children kind of
Mm,
gravitating towards? Are they gravitating towards music? Are they gravitating towards visual art? Are they good with their hands? So they're going to be a laborer, a carpenter. So I think
mhm,
observation is key in seeing kind of like what direction. One of our Shyne Award honorees, we do like little touch bases with them.
mhm.
He said that his advice that he gives to college students, because he's about to graduate from college, but he said that he tells them, even when they're in college, try everything, like get in everything. So he said when he was a freshman, he just joined like every semester, like a new club or went to
Yes.
different meetings. He was like, some things wasn't of interest to me, but like I know that now. Like I know I'm not
Right.
interested in whatever.
Right. Oh, I love that you're having like the seniors give advice. That's
Right.
interesting. It just reminds me because my sons, they're required to take, it's called VAPA, Visual and Performing Arts. So they had a choice, like an option, like you can do drama, you can do band, you can do orchestra. He ended up getting band, which wasn't like his first choice. He really wanted like art, drawing. But I was like, but this is such a good thing for you to be exposed to. We're probably not going to ever go out and make you do music lessons. So the fact that you're like trying it and you either love it or you're like, I did it
Exactly.
and it was fine, but I don't want to pursue it. But I'd rather
Exactly.
him know because I'm like, I haven't really done any music with my kids. Like we're so involved in sports that I'm like, what if one of them does really like
Right.
music and wants it? So now it's like I can tell he's like okay with it, but it's not
Mhm.
like, oh, mom, I love this.
Right.
But now you know that.
Right. Exactly. I think even as adults, I think we get stuck in
Yes.
I'm this
Uh-huh.
kind of professional, whatever, and don't expand our box. Like you can be many things. You don't
Yes.
have to be, I know we keep saying engineering, but you don't have to go to school as an engineer, have a career as an engineer, and die
Mhm.
as an engineer. Like you can go be an author or decide to be a chef or
Yeah.
whatever.
Or
And I
pivot later, because that's what I did. I was a teacher for 17 years and I was like, not for me anymore. I'm gonna
like it's okay.
leave.
It's
Yeah.
okay to experiment and change. And I think as young people, whatever we decide or whatever they decide, like, okay, like, I mean, we want you to stick with it. Like, the one thing we don't want you to do is just be
Yeah.
flaky and
Yeah.
you're just all over the place. But, find something, stick with it. But if there's something else that you might want to do on the side, or you might, it's okay to explore.
Hmm.
Just never know. But I
Yeah.
think observation is key just to see, what they might be gravitating to, and then also exposing them to as many people, opportunities, and even that it doesn't even have to be job related, I don't think. Like
Yeah.
cultural events. I have a friend now who is having his kids watch movies that he liked as a kid.
Wow. Yeah. Yes.
So I think it doesn't have to be like deep and serious. I think it could be like some
Right.
things like this was my favorite movie as a kid. Um,
Yeah.
I watched St. Elmo's Fire as a kid. I liked it as a kid. You
Yes.
you can
Yeah.
watch it as a kid too, or whatever it is. But I think it could be a mix of, business, school, and like
Hmm.
some fun things. Just to
Yeah. Well,
make it a chance to know you too.
it reminds me though, because I was like, I'm so bad. I don't do this for my kids, but I actually do this. My oldest son is very into anime and he likes just like doodling with a pencil. So not like he just likes drawing little things. My mom actually brought this up. There's a museum by us that had a whole anime exhibit. And so we took him and I was like, oh, that is something that he is interested in. It's not something like, he's obsessed with, but
Mhm.
yeah. But then my other son, my middle, they're all so different. He has just like an engineering brain. I do not. He woke up the other morning and was like, the first thing he popped out of bed and was like, Mom, you know what would be cool if you took the tires off of the bicycle and you put surfboards on them and then you could surf on a bike. And I was just like, okay, that would be cool. But I don't know how to like nurture that
Right,
create an engineer brain because I'm like, I'm not that. I don't know. Like,
right.
what are some things that I could introduce him to if that's his passion?
Yeah, I think it's the same method you did with the first son, where just keep an eye out for things. If there is an engineering fair or a trade fair, or there's a seminar at a local college, I think it's just, again, just exposure to things. Maybe you, in your travels, you run into someone who is an engineer. Hey, I have a son that, has an interest in engineering. Would you mind a 15-minute conversation with him to make sure he's on the right path? Again, that's kind of what we do in our organization, because I cannot tell you the first thing, but I might know someone who knows someone.
Right, right. So you help teens like kind of find their interests. What if you get
Yes.
a kid who's like, I don't know, I don't like anything.
Yeah. And you know what? And that's maybe half.
I was gonna say that sounds like a very teen response.
But you know what? But that's okay, because again, we're just exposing you to things. So again, if it's a workshop, if it's a one-on-one talk with a professional, and it could be a field that you're not interested in, but again, you're still in front of that person.
Mhm.
So again, just exposure, exposure, exposure.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I wouldn't beat myself up, because that would be hard. Like, okay, the arts. Like, if I had a kid that was interested in the arts, which I can help with, like I'm very artsy,
Okay.
and another one who was in engineering, I'd be like, oh my God.
Let's go ask someone for some advice.
Yeah, I'm
And
gonna have to
also
find
not to
somebody who.
pigeonhole them because like my one who is very like his brain thinks that way. I'm like, maybe he also has interest like in music and does like art also. Like I don't want to just be like,
Exactly.
you're gonna be an
Right.
engineer when you grow up, you
Right.
know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
It is fun to look at them and go, gosh, I want to just like fast forward 15 years
Right.
and know
What are
like
you going
where
to
are you
be?
gonna be? Like, what are you gonna do?
I know it's
That would be so fun.
exciting. I mean, for them, it doesn't seem exciting because they're probably like, I don't
It's
know,
just my
but
life, whatever. I'm a
right.
kid.
But
Hmm.
for us, and then when you see little things like little nuances, like, oh, I wonder what that means.
Yes. Yes. Like I played school every single day when I was a kid. So it kind of like made sense that I went into teaching. School and office, like business. Those were my two. Like,
I think for me, since you said that, we used to hold Super Bowl parties at my house,
ooh. And
and I was always the reporter,
oh
and I
my
ended up
gosh.
getting into media and public relations.
How interesting. Oh my God.
Never
And
thought
that's where
about
your
that.
mom
So
was
yeah.
like, I knew it. I knew it all along.
You know what? I'm not even sure if she ever, my mom was very kind of like, let's see what kind of happens.
Hmm.
She didn't push an industry or anything on it. It
Yeah.
literally was like, let's just see where this goes.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, so she was just that kind of a person. But yeah, but you made me think about that. Like I was always the reporter reporting the news, the
Oh,
story. And that's
that's
what I
so
do
cute.
now.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about communicating with teens because that's something I hear a lot of my friends say it's just so hard to not just physically have a conversation, but just like get through to them. And, as parents, like, I think we tend to lecture a lot. So, what's the best way of just speaking and like bridging that communication gap with teens?
So right now on social media, the phrase "we listen and we don't judge"
Yes, the trend.
that's the trend right now. And I think we should just embody that listening without judgment, that makes space for open dialogue. And like you said, instead of always giving advice, maybe ask open-ended questions and just allow the teens to express themselves. I know one of our friends, they'll combine it with an activity. So it could be, I mean, this isn't fun, a fun example, but it could be something fun or something like, they're raking the leaves together and just, so what did you think about, and it's like they don't even realize they're spilling their guts to you because they're also doing something else. Or getting ice cream, on the how's your ice cream? Oh, it's great. So what do you think about whatever that is?
Hmm.
Again, they don't even realize that they're engaging in this conversation. You're really trying to find out where they are mentally on something, but so they'll kind of layer activity with the conversation. But I think the whole we listen and don't judge is a good way to allow teens to express themselves and they feel like you're a safe
Right.
space in
And for
person.
them to know that, because it is kind of intimidating for them to want to open up to their
Yeah.
parents.
And you don't know what the parent's reaction is going to be like, oh, am I going to
Mhm.
get grounded or she going to call the school?
Right. Right.
She going to call
Right.
my
I'm like,
friend's
I'd rather you
parents?
just
Like,
tell me.
great. Like, just let me know. But
Yeah.
so I would think let's embrace the social media trend. We listen and we don't judge.
Love that. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So then speaking of social media, so you've been working with teens for quite some time. So you've probably seen a change from when social media wasn't a part of their lives to today. I mean, you can't avoid it almost. Like I signed my son up for football, and one of the things is what's his Instagram handle? I'm like,
Right.
he's
Isn't that
11, like,
crazy?
or not even 11, he's 10. He doesn't have an Instagram handle. So, what have you seen with teens and social media and how that's all going?
Yeah, I think, and I was telling my husband this, I was like, I think what is such a unicorn thing is so crazy when we meet a teen that's not on social media. Like, I'm like, you're not
Hmm.
on social media?
Right,
I'm
which you would think that should be the norm, but it's
like,
like I almost feel like I'm like my kids don't have cell phones yet. They're already asking for them, and I'm like I'm starting to feel like with a fifth grader that he's like the one that doesn't have a phone, and I'm like
yeah,
how is that the norm now that
I'm
everyone has
kind of
one?
still old school.
Yes.
I'm old school with you. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like if you have a social media account, first of all, it should be your choice if you want to. And you need to be of some kind of age, like maybe high school if you do. That's just me.
Hmm.
But your question in terms of how things changed, I definitely think it adds an extra layer of pressure because you have to be real life you, and then you have to have
Hmm.
this social media you. Um, but if you could be a teen that knows it's fake, like it's fake, and you don't allow it to control your narrative, who you think you should be,
Hmm.
um, are the most healthy and successful teens. I know just in the young people that we work with, they normally use, I mean, and their platforms are fun, like they have fun elements in it,
Yeah.
but they also channel any interest they have. So if it's music, there's videos of them singing. If or tickets that you took a picture of tickets to a concert, or
Hmm.
things like that. Like it's more of their interest and not a superficial kind of uh, like they're not using it superficially, to
Right.
these like new sneakers, whatever. And not that that's bad, but there's a cause attached to it or some kind
Right.
of
Like there
interest.
could be some good benefits of social media.
Right, exactly. There are
Hmm.
benefits, like especially like you said, your son is in football,
Hmm.
and just even showing like his
Exposure.
right. his great plays, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
him talking about, why he likes football, or, I'm a number 11, I'm a quarterback, and this weekend we collected perishable items for blah blah blah. Like it could
Right.
be like showing like community service plays, what he's doing on the weekend. Oh, I'm going to kick back this weekend and watch a movie. Like it could be
Mm-hmm.
fun things, but it doesn't have to be used for just superficial things. I woke up like this, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Or
It could
not
be
something that like because you talked about confidence, like it's so important to have confidence as a teen, not something that's going to take away from that.
exactly. You can use it for good. And so um there are a lot of teens that we are exposed to that they use it for their platforms. Um, Again, singing, a lot of them have their own business, they have their own
Mm-hmm.
nonprofit. We do have those who are in sports. And again, it's this mixture of sports, but also like showing that they spent time mentoring somebody, or they went to the movies with a friend, or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of used. You see the whole person, and it's not you know they're being an influencer
Yeah.
of,
I'm
of,
going to
of a
become this
product.
famous YouTuber mom.
Right, right. But they're their own influencer of, this
Yes.
is the good that I'm doing. This is,
Yes.
you can do this too, or join me in doing whatever.
Right.
So there is good. I'm pretty much on every social media platform.
Yeah. Well, I have to now, like to
Yeah.
promote business, you have to get out there. Yeah.
But I think it's good. And I know too, employers look for you to have social media. And not that you have to be on every platform, but they
Mm-hmm.
will ask, like, what platform are you on? That is a way that they are looking to see what kind of person you are, like the real
Mm-hmm.
you. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's a real
Right.
you, if you're using
Yeah.
that.
Your brand,
If
it's
you're
your
showing
brand.
the real you, right?
Yeah.
But like what you are portraying, and if it is not the real you, that may be, I mean, still good for them, because you still are projecting a positive image for their company. But
Yeah.
but yeah, now companies are looking, they're asking you, like, what platform are you on? And then they're trying
Mhm.
to see what you
There's
are.
your resume right there.
It really is.
Yeah.
Even as an adult, I was asked by a reporter. I thought, like, I had my press release ready, I had my bio, and she said, "Are you on Instagram?" Oh, I had all this stuff ready. They
Yes.
just wanted to see, she just wanted to see my Instagram account.
Wow. Wow. Well, I
Crazy.
think this is like stirring some ideas in me. When my kids get social media, because it's inevitable, they're going to, maybe just looking before they do it, setting up like what is the goal? Like why do you want to be on it? Do you just want to be on it so you can chit chat with your friends? Do you want to be on it because you want to share your art or share this? But like really thinking about what is your goal for having a social media account, and then are you straying from that? Like,
You know what that is? That is a good way to think of it, because, as you know, as we talked earlier, I'm in public relations, and I had a meeting today with an adult, but he was like, I don't know what to post on social media. And I'm like, well, you're about to write a book. So what do you want people to know about you in
yeah,
preparation for this book launch? Again, and that's very good. Like going into it with a plan, and
why do
not,
I have this?
right, you just want to be on Instagram because your friends are on Instagram, and then you're posting just random things, versus your
Hmm.
each post is telling a story that you want us to know about
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
And then if a scout or a future employer looks on your social media, it literally is telling us a story about you.
Hmm.
Like sports, you like food, you enjoy action movies, you're into anime,
Yeah.
and you enjoy community service once a month.
Yeah. Get it all on there. Keep
Get it all
posting.
in there.
Love that. Love that. Oh, well, this is so interesting. Like it makes me excited to have teens because I feel like that is a like you have the newborn stage, you got the terrible twos, you got this, and then you think of like the dreaded teenage years, but it doesn't have to be
Yeah, it doesn't.
that. There can be some amazing parts of raising teenagers.
And especially showing them, I know even just with my mom, when she would share stories about her as a teen, because it's weird to visualize
Yeah.
your past as young,
Yes. Yeah. You did that?
right? You weren't as close. But just her sharing her stories of being young and what she was concerned about. And again, as I mentioned, a friend of mine who's having his kids watch movies
Hmm.
from his time as a kid, which wasn't that long ago, which is crazy, but like they're watching his favorite movies, and so far they're enjoying them, but just like little peeks into your life. And but having
Hmm.
teens, there's that component of they can be like, your friend to a point, but not.
Yes. But they are starting to become like almost adults, so you
Right.
can like have a different relationship with them.
Exactly. Yep.
No, that's fun. That's fun. Okay, well, let us know where are all the places we can find you, all the platforms where we can find you if we want to look more into you or the Shyne Awards.
So if you want information about the Shyne Awards, first of all, the name is the Shyne Awards, and we spell shine with a Y for youth, or young adult.
I was wondering why it was spelled that way. Okay, love it.
Yeah, so we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are X, and TikTok.
Okay.
And then if you would like to find me, normally use my whole name, which is Orlana Darkins Drury, and I'm on Facebook. Instagram is my favorite platform though. So if you DM me on Instagram, you'll probably get a
You'll get
faster
back. Yeah.
reply than Facebook. But Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, X, I think I signed up for Blue Sky. I think that's what it's called. I don't even know.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, but yeah, so I'm everywhere. But LinkedIn and Instagram are my favorites.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for giving us a little insight into the teen world and all those wonderful tips.
Thank you, Katie, so much for this platform, and I enjoy your podcast. It is awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, wasn't that such a wonderful conversation? I really enjoyed talking about a phase of motherhood that I haven't entered yet, but I really want to feel prepared about. And I feel like she had so many great tips. So thank you to Orlana for coming on. Make sure to check the show notes so you can find out where to follow her and learn more about what she does. And for all of you out there, I'll see you next Friday for another conversation. But until then, I want to remind you that everyone burns their first pancake. So just keep flipping.